Greetings, New Earth family. Thalia here with Power Light Work. How are you all doing out there at this tail end of Scorpio season, moving into Sagittarius and the last zodiac season of 2023? I hope you all are doing well. And I am back for another installment of the discussion on 7 levels of ascension path of light. And we are on Ascension level 6 with this video. I created a playlist on my channel so you can access previous discussions if you're jumping in new on this discussion thread that I've been doing since the summertime. You can just go to my playlist and then you can access all the videos that I've done previously up until this point. I am noticing that as I am moving through the levels, the audience participation, either with views or any likes or shares or comments, is declining. So, that's classic. Many are called, few are chosen. So if you have happened to stick with me through this point, congratulations. And it means that you are really taking ascension and the concept of ascension this lifetime seriously. And it's not easy to do. There is so much to this, and it continues to go beyond this lifetime. So if you are up to this point with me regarding ascension, again, to just catch those who are new up. And if you are new, welcome. I'm Athalia. My 5D service project is called Power Light Work. And our main focus here is enabling those who are on an awakening journey to realize that it's the perfect time to choose to live an entirely new story on a new timeline, on a new earth. We are evolving quicker into this and grounding this concept of unity consciousness. You could be on your awakening path solo, or you could have been activated by a soul connection. Either or, this channel and its content is for you in providing you with additional tools and resources via my discussions and readings and astrological updates to assist you as it serves on your path. And you identify as a light worker. And there's so much that I say that you already know is true. And so welcome. If you find this content useful and you haven't subscribed already, please do that. And please share with anyone that you feel would benefit from what I have to say here. Okay. So Ascension level 6, this is big. Is big, but it's big for the planet. But in terms of your individual path, we still have quite a ways to go. So there's no over the hump or done ever. Please remember that. But it's a big milestone for planetary ascension as we can conceive it and understand it. And for those who are new, the methodology that I'm speaking of is in reference to the work of the late Dr. Joshua Davis Stone. Please check out his Ascension Encyclopedia. And please also remember that that's only one piece of the puzzle. It's important to have a reference point where someone of Dr. level status and has paved the way, but don't stop there. There are so many pieces to the Ascension game and the Ascension puzzle, so don't get narrow. Please remain expanded, and please include other teachers, other thought systems, other methodologies, other concepts within your path and your study. Okay, and I'm speaking based upon my personal experience, and I'm talking about what may happen to you at this level. But of course, it's all unique, and your personal experience is catered to you and to the degree that you is your path to reconnection to oneness is unique to you. Okay, so take what resonates, leave the rest, as I always say. So this is big. This is big in regards to a rite of passage, a ceremonial rite of passage, kind of crossing a threshold at this point on the path of ascension, to where it's pretty hard to go back at this point. Any level up until this point is pretty much, it's easy to kind of quit, throw it away, and go back. But at this point in the ascension path, really can't go back. And why? Because up to this point, you may have had the conversation with your masters, teachers, and loved ones, guides, helpers, angelic beings, what have you, that now you are making the choice to ascend on the right-hand path and remain in a physical body. And you may be having talks about what that looks like for you. So the reasons to kind of resort back to the traditional modes of earthly life as we understand them and know them, that kind of goes out the window. And you may have, through your rite of passage in ceremony, or whatever that ends up looking like for you, now you've made commitments at this point. You've made commitments to be in service as a result of your decision to be an ascended being that holds a multi-dimensional consciousness, to remain here in a physical body, and what that entails in terms of your service for the rest of your incarnation here. Okay, so that's why it's kind of hard to jump ship and go back at this point. I'm not saying it can't be done. Again, we're going back to that Matrix movie where I can't remember what his name was, but Cyrus had totally ascended out of the Matrix, but then he was with Agent Smith in the first Matrix movie that was released in '99. By the way, I can't believe it's so old. He made arrangements with Agent Smith in handing over Morpheus to go back to the Matrix. He actually wanted to be plugged back in and not remember anything. So it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It just becomes more difficult, more complicated. You can't, and that's why Cyrus asked for his memory to be completely wiped out, because you can't unknow. It's hard to unawaken. Like, it's hard to, you've worked so hard to awaken from the dream, from the earthly sleep state in 3D. It becomes hard to undo that and go back. So at this level, with the ascension process, once you've made those commitments, you become a kindergarten level ascended master on the right hand path. And when I mean right hand path, I mean it's predominantly with the masculine, but we don't know that. It's simply because that's what we so readily have accessible to us in understanding the spiritual traditions, the spiritual past. It's not that the feminine isn't online or hasn't started to awaken, or that other energetic polarity within ourselves. It's just we've ascended to the degree that we are able within polaric energies, okay? And for most, I'm not saying all, for most, that's on the right-hand path, okay? So within that, now you have in level 5 come into all of this knowledge and knowing about what your new story is, in terms of not who you were programmed to be or who you thought you were. It's who you have become as the true you, the real you, the ascended you, the I am expression. You have worked with your spiritual support team to establish that and to develop that thus far on the journey. And level 6 is when you actually begin, I'm emphasizing begin, to put that into practice and actually walk that out for yourself here in this world. Now, that is not easy. That is not easy, because the very premise of who you have become in the new, whatever that has been established for you, may be in complete opposition to the current establishment and the current order and the current perspective of how things should be, you're now invited to ground your new that may be in opposition of all of that. So it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of, grit to commit to that. And not only commit to that, but where we actually are walking that. There's two different sides to this New Earth family. It's not just what you know. It's your ability to put what you know in practice and service. How many people are doing that? How many people are doing that without an agenda to energetically enslave others and by means of their own seeking of power and control? I'll let you answer that. So this is the point to where we begin that process. And it's a very uncomfortable one. So at this level, you also may be so spiritually polished and so in the knowing of the greater that you have been gifted with, remember, that has been bestowed upon you in trust and in agreement, is we have to be cognizant at this level, and I still do every moment of every day. Am I making practical, tangible sense in what I'm saying to others? And I'm still working on this. And that's why it's so important for me to do these videos, for me to speak, for me to write, for me to, in very grounded, practical, tangible ways, still have contact and relations with people here on the path that may be severed at some point, typically around level 4. And even in periods, level 5, level 6, level 7, and beyond, where we have to be by ourselves. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that in terms of the preparation and the elevation and the receiving. Our focus has to be just on those things. And that's helping us continue and refine our walk. If we're not focused, and that does require isolation, then we're going to miss it. And I completely remember tangible times on my journey that I can actually literally point to. So more literal times on my journey that I can point to where I did miss it. And I had to wait till the energies came back around in order to get it. So there becomes this balance between time where you know that you need to be in isolation or by yourself or just with your spiritual support team. And there are times where it's essential to be with other people in whatever way that ends up landing for you. And the reason is so that we can remain in practice on staying grounded, and how we can take all of this higher information and all of this elevation and all of this new and serve in a way that's actually beneficial to others, to where you're making sense, people understand you, they're receiving what you're saying, and then they're putting it into practice for themselves. If that's not happening, then there's a major disconnect. And I have and still do become subject to this. This is something that I'm working on diligently through the cycles and through the seasons, is is grounding this. And it takes through level 7 to do this. This is what I mean. You're just at the beginning of it. So we may have the talk. We may have the knowing. We may have the new laid out for us. We may even be understanding and overstanding and understanding of our purpose here and our function. Is to what degree are we walking that? And are we in authenticity, full authenticity of that with our fellow man, our brother, our sister, that we are put in front of, that is receiving the same invitation to elevate and to ascend. Okay? Not easy. Really, 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 really not easy. So grounding practices at this stage are essential. And I didn't do that. I did not ground. And it is very possible at this point, because we have ascended mostly within the masculine polarity and on the right hand, that we've become separated from this whole other aspect of ourselves that is of the earth, that is of like this rock, like matter, the tree behind me. We've lost our footing on the ground, and that's a whole different conversation. That's a whole nother area within the path that one comes to when they're ready for it. I'm just letting you know what you may encounter as a result of coming this far, which in itself is huge for the frequency and the light quotient that you are holding for the rest of humanity and for our evolution at this time. That is to be congratulated for sure. But we're so not done. Okay. Could be at the beginning, because we did so much work with the heart and heart grievances and forgiveness work and acceptance work in level 5. We may still have a long way to go in acknowledging and going into the realizations, and I'm talking about the inner realizations of some of our own pain and some of our own suffering and some of our own tendencies that could be described as shadow. There's for some of us, depending upon how long you have lived in your earthly life this far, there's some that are so repressed and buried that it takes ascending in order for them to even come back up. That's how far in separation and in delusion and illusion that some of us have been living in, right? So to ascend on the right hand path, to a degree, you do have to leave your body. That's for a reason. And the reason is so that you can receive this reprogramming and receive this elevation and this greater understanding. And then now at level 6, we're at the beginning of, now you have to come back in. And then there's this process of reintegrating or integrating so that you can actually ground your whole self. So it's interesting at this level, you will be able to see and begin to understand very quickly separated states of being versus connected states of being. This path is one of connection. It's one of union. It's one of unity consciousness, where there is no difference between myself and the person in front of me. We are the same. We are created from the same. We are sourced from the same. Now, what I'm saying to so many of us, because of this, we can't even conceive of how that would be possible. But as you deepen, then you are gifted with the knowledge to begin to understand in the way that you uniquely can. you can see how there's no difference between my sister and my brother and between me, right? And if we're still, and I have had a hard time with this. Now we're in the realms of what we can call unconditional love, Christ love, compassion, right? We're the veil, that veil and that mask has been gone, but then we're actually able to apply some of these things through our own unique personal blueprint so that we can now not just have the understanding, we're living this. We're living connected. We're not living separated anymore. I think that those are the main points with level 6, and I will go ahead and stop there. Before I completely stop, another important mention is, if it hasn't happened already, it is at this level that your relationships will begin to change. They've already started to change. Level 4, level 5, they've started to change. In level 6, they're going to change even more, to a degree that's almost shocking, on how some people will just be taken out altogether in terms of a relationship with you. Those will end. New relationships will start. Your soul connection will begin to change and evolve if you have come to that point. Union energy will begin to ground more, regardless of what's taking place in the physical between the two of you. And that's the only thing that I'll leave off with, is that if it hasn't happened already, familial dynamics, relationships, and things definitely begin to take a big shift if they haven't. All right, New Earth family, look forward to the last installment of this next month with level 7 to complete 2023. And I hope you all are doing so well. Stay blessed, stay nourished and good through the rest of this year and this review time and navigating this choice point. And until next time, all praise and all love. Bye-bye.